Hello, Brian. Welcome and thank you for joining the Parents Around the World Summit. How are you doing today?
I am doing so well. Thank you so much for having me. Hi everyone that's listening, watching in. I'm excited to be here.
Thank you for joining us. And I know that you're going to talk about a number of things, especially when it comes to children and parenting. So, what I'm going to do is I'll give you the floor and it
Wonderful.
is all yours. Go ahead, Brian.
Wonderful. What brings me to this summit in the first place? 42. I married my high school sweetheart. I have four kids, ages 15, 14, 11, and 9. Three boys and a girl. And I'm self-employed. Been that way for, shoot, it's been about 12, 13 years now. I'm a health coach, juggling a lot of things in my life, right? You've got the day-to-day life of work. You have the day-to-day life of being a husband, of being a father, of being a friend, whatnot. And those all place individual demands on who we are and how we show up for our family, for the people around us. And it's really important to make sure that you stay putting yourself first in some level. And today we're going to talk about strong kids start with strong parents, right? They're many yous, many me's in a sense. They're watching your every single move. They're paying attention to you. They are focused on your behaviors, your attitude, your energy, how you react to certain situations that come up in day-to-day life, how you handle the everyday pressures and stressors of life. They are watching, and the way you respond is embedded into them as they grow. If there might be, say, a partner or spouse that is a little grumpy or easy to upset or just overly joyful or doesn't actually handle things in an appropriate way, and then these are patterns of behaviors that can be pushed forward into the future. Now, I'm definitely not perfect, right? I'm a human being and I'm juggling a lot of plates, right? There are 15 relationships in my household between every single person. It's like a ping pong ball. And I can promise you that not all of them are all going straight in alignment, right? There's every once in a while there's a, a ball that gets thrown over that way, another one that way, right? And it's usually my third and first and third sons, and they're the ones that seem to like to poke and prod and cause the challenges of that. So coming to you today with just tons of experience and helping people better their health. I work with men and women too, but I have the Call to Rise, and that's where I help men lose weight to and just empower themselves to be better husbands, better fathers, better parents in a sense. And so we work really hard at that. So kids don't, they don't do what we say, they model what we do, right? And there's this, what I would call invisible curriculum that is an undertone that's in your house, and this is they're seeing and they're imitating, and that's why we can think about it as an individual invisible curriculum, and that really does impact the the energy that's coming in your house from a is your house full of joy? Is a house full of frustration, anger? Is it tense? Is there yelling? Is there things to always look forward to? Is it overly busy? Nowadays, I find that most parents and families are overscheduled. And one kid has, eight things to do in a week every day after school, sometimes two or three teams, and they've got other extracurriculars and stuff, and that in and of itself places challenges on the schedule, or even you know, dinner. What's for dinner? And making sure that we provide our kids with healthy foods and also ourselves with healthy foods. Because if we are eating properly, then you have energy to be able to manage everything that we're doing. So our behaviors that we do, they're teaching emotional management, they're teaching a stress response, they're teaching daily habits. And what you do as a parent, say working out. and again, we're just gonna run down the line of taking care of your health because that's what I do. There's simple things that you need to do every day to just take care of your body. There's movement. You need to move your body. We need to take care of it. There is nutrition. We need to eat. We need to practice portion control, and we need to eat healthier foods, right? We have power over what we choose. We've got stress response. How many times does something come up and you default to consumption of some sort, whether it's food, junk food, snacks, treats, alcohol, soda. It could be Netflix, all these things. We get into this consumption mode more often than not, rather than some people do just don't eat. They just because stress causes that as well. So we have to pay attention to how, as a parent, we are uh, doing these type of internal behaviors that are reflected externally. All right. And as we're moving through day-to-day life, we want to be able to set a strong tone at home about managing stress because that's going to be the biggest thing that shows up in your day-to-day world is managing the influx of challenges that you have. Even just in our current economic situation, groceries are more expensive, right? And so then your dollar goes not so far. And then that can place other challenges on other things in our world and cause more stress and strain as something as simple as that. Now, most humans practice some form of suppression, right? They go to that consumption mode, and parents need to be very, very, very careful of it. Not to say that I haven't gotten to the end of a long day and just feel a little overwhelmed by this, that, or the other, or my daughter likes to stay up late. It's just like her mom. And so she will have me read. And while sometimes reading starts at 9:30, 9:40, and it feels like it lasts over a half hour, which is great and fine. And I love doing it and I will continue to do it. But there's so many other things that I need to get done because of the responsibilities I have as a father, as the breadwinner of the household and everything. And this can place some challenges on my own desire to even be there fully with her, thinking about the other 8 things that I need to do before I go to bed that night. But one three-step framework that we can do when we get into these stressful situations in our house as parents, and you really have to be bonded to your partner, your spouse, and really aligned. And the three-step framework would be name it, normalize it, and navigate it. Pretty simple, pretty obvious, but when we start to feel tension in the air, we start to feel challenges showing up. We see the stress, we see the rise in the voice or the energy in the house and maybe a negative way. We have to name it. We have to slow things down. I think you would agree, Train, is when you are getting worked up, one of the quickest, fastest things to do instead of just letting something slide out the mouth or react to whatever situation is, you got to pause, take a deep breath, and then give it some space to just downshift that initial urge to react and take it. So that can be a really big piece of slowing down, naming the situation. Okay, things are starting to get out of control. We need to slow things down, and then we can figure out what is the challenge that's at hand. So maybe an example could be it's something as simple as homework, right? Not wanting to do the homework, and the kid just either doesn't understand it, is unmotivated, like most of us are for homework. There could be all sorts of reasons why someone does it, but they start getting worked up. They just don't do anything. They're like hiding from you in your house, in their room or something. They're just head down. They're trying to, nowadays, of course, we have screens. They're just trying to spend a bunch of time on a phone or a device. And so we have to be able to understand. So we go to name, okay, my child is starting to show these signs of procrastination or defiance, or they're frustrated or whatever, so we can name whatever that situation is around, say, the homework, and then get into normalizing. Okay, it's okay to feel overwhelmed about the homework that you're doing that you don't necessarily understand. That's a 100% okay and normal as a human being. So how do we navigate that then? Where are the gaps at what you do or don't understand, in which then we can start to foster a better response? Oh, you mean you didn't understand what this one thing was? Or, hey, did you read the instructions? Did we start there? All right. Sometimes it's as simple as that. It's unplug and then replug back in. You know what I mean? And it can be that type of a situation to slow things down to be able to get back to it. Now, so that's a three-step framework on managing emotional health in your household. Physical health, of course, humans are meant to move. In our current state of life, there's ongoing demands, there's challenges, there's all sorts of situations that are coming up in our day-to-day world that just keep us sedentary. Most people work at a desk job. It's nice out. You might see different tones of the lights. I'm outside in my barn, as you can tell, it's my workout area, my man cave or whatnot. But I have the garage door up, and so the sun is changing. But in Ohio here, it has rained. It has been cold. It was super duper windy yesterday, and sometimes even just the physical nature of what's outside, we don't want to do anything. But as we go back, some of those simple things of moving your body, eating healthy foods, getting enough sleep, these are things that you can do and set the tone of in your house. One, by being the parent that is active or goes on walks with their family. We have a dog and we regularly go as a family on a hike around in a metro park that's close to us, or at Copley Park is where we'll go, and we'll do our the Parana loop, so to speak, and we'll go walk it, and we'll spend time together talking and engaging through, because physical movement, undistracted time allows the kids to play, allows them to be themselves, allows them to move. And again, in our current society, you don't really see kids playing a lot, and you need to create those opportunities as a parent regardless of how busy you are. So we always want to use positive language around exercise and make sure, or even health in general, especially depending on where the your children are or are not at. It's really important to be able to keep them in a positive self-esteem and encourage them always to, again, take care of themselves or make better food choices. That's always a challenge with the modern day nutrition strategies that are being used, whether it's through marketing, right? How many years has Tony the Tiger been telling us how great Frosted Flakes are, right? For my whole life, but also maybe school food access that they have there. In our area, it's not the best. We always try to give the kids a healthy, balanced lunch, a sandwich, some protein on it, some vegetables, some fruit, and maybe something else in that there. So physical health has to be something that you as a family should be doing together. The most obvious one is go to the playground and actually play with them, or on a hike. I can't tell you how many fond memories I have of being with my kids playing tag at the local playground. Oh my gosh, it's one of my favorite things to do, and probably one of the things I'll miss the most as they continue to grow. And we do that less just because of the busyness of our schedules, or just the size of my kids. One, my second son is taller than me at 6'3" now. My other son is staring me in the eye, and the other two are still little, but we're all big people now, and we can't just show up on a playground and stomp around while other little kids are there with their parents and stuff. So that's something that we've had to navigate in our situation. The action plan that I'd love for you to take away, it's so simple. But what is one activity, physical activity that you can do and start to ingrain in your everyday life as a family? Do you go for just a walk because it's super easy? Are you gonna do some sort of a game? The second one is we're going to look at maybe that going back to that three-step framework around an emotional reaction because they're always going to happen, right? With humans. It's just the best way to engage with someone is to align with them, understand where they're at, and start to create some sort of a form, an alliance or align with where we need to go. So we need to make sure that we have a proper response. We can't just fly out the handle, go slam a door, and then just not show up the rest of the night. That is not an undertone that you want to give your kids. So when things start to get hot and heavy in a sense of emotions flying and challenges showing up, then we need to pause, slow down, and reset. And make sure, lastly, is make sure that you as a parent are going above and beyond to demonstrate the appropriate ways that are important for you to model yourself, but also important for you to that you want your kids to model in the future. Think 10, 20 years from now, we need to instill these situations in their everyday life now when they're, say, young or they're under your roof. So when they're 30, they're still making good choices in life and they're not coming back to you asking to live with you or asking you for money all the time, or they're in a sad, unfortunate situation that if they would have been more uh, just whatever situation, if they would have just been more equipped or empowered, they would have made better choices and not gotten to, $30,000 of credit card debt as an example. So there you go. There's a couple takeaways for you.